How's the camera setup? Is it too close again?
No.
Okay.
Hopefully not.
How about fixing the wideness on it?
I fixed everything.
No, you didn't. You got a little bit wide yet.
But wait a second. Hold on. It's not, somehow it's not. Hi, Pat. I don't know why it's not taking. Oh, I think I'm on the wrong thing. Hang on. There we go. Now I'm too close again. No, why am I? Oh, I think I know. Hold on a minute. Okay, that's better. I think that's better. Maybe not. Maybe further. Okay. Hey, well, okay. Pat, Carla, Lisa, Joe Glover, hi CYNT, hi Christo, Mary Kim, Charlie Duck, Evie, Elise, Ninja, Maddie Jean, Jokana. What's the matter, Jay? Okay, not worried about it. Isabel, Gil, Mystery Truth Seeker, Lamb Chops, Janine, Aloha from Waikiki Beach. Hey, okay. Seaglass and Shells, Sonia, you're going to bed after the night shift? Okay, good night. Hi, Sammy. We're supposed to have Deb come on and tell us a true crime story that happened in her town. Oh, Deb, really? Oh, and I was getting ready to have, okay. Who else? Somebody else. Is the other person here that had the story? There's the ice maker. I didn't read it. No. I didn't read. I skimmed it, but I thought you were going to be here doing it. Hello, Jeff. Hey, MH. Hi, Fran. Did I get Lisa? I got Lisa. Okay, Deb. So. Let's see. Lee's Flower Girl. Did I miss anybody else? Hi, Jessica. Hi, Anna. Hi, Liza. Is it your first time? Hi, Sabrina. Sage Tree. Sabrina, your first time here? Hi, Nana Nurse Patty. Hi, Nurse Nana Patty. Hi, Sharon. Okay, so Deb's here, but she's not going to come on because she says she has an upset stomach. Hi, Tammy B. Hi, Linda. You need food, Lisa? Oh, it's your first time on chat? Hi, Time for a Change. Hi, Miss Mary. So, you sent me the story, but I would think it would be so much better if you would tell it since you're so familiar with it. I can tell you about another friend con. In the meantime, maybe your stomach will get better. Or maybe someone else has a true crime story to tell. All right, I'll tell you this one, and then you guys can decide if what Deb's going to do there. Let's see. Okay, so we planned our vacation for months. This is entitled "My Friend Conned Me Into Paying for Her Vacation." We planned our vacation for months. Over lunch, we researched vacation spots, checked hotels, and when we finally settled on a spot, I charged our travel arrangements to my credit card. We were coworkers who had become friends. We went to lunch together, we shopped together, and we often went on double dates together. I wasn't worried about getting paid. I knew she had a good job and it paid well. She promised to pay me back when we returned. Our agreement suited me because I was using a zero-interest credit card. She saved on interest if I charged the trip, while I collected points from the charge. Win-win, right? Wrong. The day finally arrived. The only thing on my mind was fun, sun, and relaxation. I remember looking out the window as the plane sped down the runway when my friend nudged me. I thought she wanted to look out the window. She didn't. "Hey," she said, "I didn't bring any money. Can you cover me and I'll pay you back?" My friend had horrible credit. As it turns out, my friend had filed for bankruptcy not once, but twice. Her parents bailed her out both times, paying over $40,000 toward her debt. But I didn't know that at the time. If I had, I never would have agreed to charge our trip on my credit card. I was furious. I should have seen this coming. She'd done it to me before, although never on this scale. This time was the most brazen. We were headed to Puerto Rico for 7 days, and she had no money or credit cards. Not that the cards would have helped anyway. She was maxed out again. After we returned from our trip, I tried to get my money back. I hounded her for several months, which, as you can imagine, made working together difficult. I finally went to her parents, who I had met several times at our respective family gatherings, and this is when I discovered they had bailed her out several times. They weren't wealthy people, but they loved their daughter and valued our friendship. In the end, they paid me back the balance she owed. It has been several years since this happened. She's still a spendthrift. It cost her a number of relationships, including a fiancé. However, we're still friends, in large part because her parents paid me back, and we run in the same circles. My friend used me for money. I now know better. Money can ruin relationships, so don't be that friend. And remember, a good friend is worth their weight in gold, while a poor one will leave you destitute. So, there's another one. Okay, so where was I? Let's see what we want to do about Deb's thing here. Whose email is she reading from? No, it's a story. Does it hit close to home? I don't know. It's a story. A true one, but nobody that I know. The guy that I talked about last night, he emailed me yesterday because I emailed him. He emailed me right back. He's one of the producers of Shark Tank. So he gave me some pointers and he seems like a really nice guy. And he was very glad that we were covering it because he said it's probably going to help a lot of people. So that was good. Hi, Carol. Hi, Carol. Two Carols. Hi, Sakura. Yeah, you should look at last night's, Jeff. It was really good. Okay. True story, too. Yeah, just a bizarre one. Luke, can you shut that door, please? You were at that church in Barbados. Oh, okay. And so that. Good morning, Carolyn. Good morning, Tina. Is this your first time here, Tina? Maddie Jean, my true crime is taking tomorrow's morning meds instead of tonight's. Oh, dear. We all need to be aware of the cons. Anyway, what was I going to say? No, and I'm getting really worried, Carla. Kathy, can you please give us an update on your son? I'm going to shoot her. Let me just shoot her because I've been out on, let me see, and then I'm going to shoot another quick email just. Okay, so we'll see there. All right, now. Yeah, we do, Fran. Okay. So, hey, Jeannie. Was there someone else here that said they had a true crime story they wanted to share? Debbie, can you lay on the couch? It might, I'm not just saying, Debbie, it could take your mind off of your stomach. I don't know, sometimes it can. And you could just lay on the couch and talk on the phone. I'm just saying. Hey, Sunny Bunny, how's the relationship? Hey, Bella Mac. Bella Mac, what are you doing up so early? Hi, Sonia. If you hear noise, we've done a lot of, we got a lot done today. Well, I mean, we got a really early start. So then I went down, hung out with my daughter and her friends for a while. I didn't have any new, her friend didn't have any new riddles. She says if she gets some more riddles, she'll email them to me. Found out one of them watches me. Hi, Dash. How are you? Okay. And then I went swimming for a long, long time. And it was beautiful out. Beautiful. No clouds. Did not like rain at all. We get home. We're starving, right? Get home. It sounds so silly, isn't it? Get home. We get back to the house. And we're starving, so we're trying to figure out what we're going to eat. And then Jimmy says, I have really bad news because, that the firewood ring that I spray painted yesterday, we were getting it set on the porch, and then the kids were going to carry some of the firewood in and fill that in. Starts almost like tornado-like rain and wind and some thunder and lightning. I said, this is incredible. It was so lucky that we got an early start, and I got to have like the longest swim, come out, and then didn't get the firewood done. So then we watched 2 movies today while we cleaned and organized like the family room, and I put together 2 shoe racks that have to go in the basement to hold cleats and, extra boots and stuff, that seasonal shoes. So I got that done. We watched A Star Is Born, the new one, and we watched Mule with, they both had Bradley Cooper in them. I liked Mule a lot. I did. Star Is Born was good too, but I liked Mule better actually. And then what else did we do? So I did some cleaning. I keep organizing the crafts, and now he's downstairs. If you hear him, he's setting up these shelving units for me, where I'm going to organize all these little boxes that I've been filling with all of my craft stuff and such. Because we really were in desperate need of getting things organized, because ever since we moved back in the house, it's just been a mess. Yeah, and did I take my other iron? I don't know if I'll take another iron. Yeah, I think My blood pressure is a little better. It's still low, but it's better. It's like 113/68. It's about a man that always put work above his family, and he has a lot of strained relationships with his family. The only one that really speaks to him was the one granddaughter. And his house went into foreclosure, and he drove this really old truck, and somebody saw him and said that he could, that he had all these stickers on the back of his truck when he went to this engagement party, and they said, well, you look like you drive a lot, you know, I could get you a gig just for driving. So he was running drugs. At the beginning, he didn't even know what the heck was going on. And then he was taking the money, like, but he did some good things with it. Like, the VFW burned down, and they needed $25,000. So he gave $25,000 to them. And, you know, like, he helped his kids out and stuff, and it was a good movie. Oh, Jennifer Madison, you can't. The dog just is outside the garage door, laying on the ground. Just it's nothing really. Animal stuff like that bothers me too, but it's not that bad. I mean, it's nothing. I wouldn't let that stop you from watching the movie. This was a productive day. Sammy, it was. I have so much to do. If you knew the state of things, I'm like tearing my hair out of my head. Like, I don't know. I think I need like a team of Oompa Loompas. I really do. I'm not kidding around. I'm not kidding around. I'm frozen? I shouldn't be. Why do you say that? You think I'm frozen? It must be your internet. Please do, Carrie Lynn. I take all the Oompa Loompas. I need severe. You have no idea. You have no idea what we're dealing with. That contractor that left us in a lurch, he messed up our lives so bad with getting things back where they belong, that we're still doing it. And we just got it. It can be overwhelming at times. Okay, so Deb's not going to talk from her couch. Which bathroom? Which bathroom? The master bathroom still has to get some of the doors put on, painted and put on, with the final coat of paint on them, and then we have to do something with the wall paint above the tile. I don't think we like that color, so we might do it again. We got to put the crown molding. It's always something here. She didn't have a couch yet. She asked her to lay on the floor and call. Oh, you asked her to lay on the floor and call? Okay. Get some pillows at least. No? Okay, I guess I'll have to read her story. It's not going to be the same, Deb. It really isn't. And we put you in the title of the video and everything. She doesn't have a couch. Maybe call from a chair or your bed. Or wherever you're sleeping. A sleeping bag or something. Prop yourself up a little bit on the wall. Mule just came out on our movie channels. I will have to watch. Yeah, it's on HBO now. You call after? What do you mean you call after? Why don't you call now? You finally got your other house on the market? Please say some prayers. It sells quickly. Oh, okay. And put a St. Joseph statue out or something, or say a prayer to St. Joseph. You can buy those on Amazon now, Jennifer? Really? You can buy them on Amazon? How much are they? Who's a photographer? What are you talking about? Who's a photographer? What did I miss? Oh, you're telling jokes. Oh, speaking of photographers, Cowgirl Up got a Canon Rebel XT camera with the 17 to 55 lens and another lens for $2.99 in some store in Canada. Deb says she will call in after I read the story. Oh, lovely. But I don't want to read the story. I wanted you to tell us the story. It's the saint that helps you sell your house. No, I actually have a St. Joseph plaque thing. It was in a discount store, kind of like a, she went there to buy funny things. Listen to what she's doing. Her daughter's moving into this new place. So she's telling her daughter that, oh, I can't wait till you see what I've done with this place. I put my whole heart and soul into it. And meanwhile, she's gone to like thrift stores and she wishes there were a dollar store to get like the ugliest, tackiest, craziest things she could get to decorate, to like knickknacks. And she said, I got the ugliest, I don't know whether it was a painting or a photo for behind the couch. And I said, is your daughter gonna, you mean she's really thinking that you're doing this and she's not gonna be, because if those were my kids would be like, okay, that's great. But now you're confused. Saint Anthony is lost things. Saint Joseph statue. Did I say Saint Anthony? Saint Joseph. Saint Anthony is lost things, right? Saint Jude is hopeless causes. Oh, is your mom coming home now? Oh, that's good. Hey, Save Robbie, how are you feeling? So anyway, so she's trying to do all this stuff, and then she found this camera in there, and she goes, Carolyn, you know about cameras, and she shows it to me. She got it for $2.99.
Sorry, I couldn't quite hear you. Could you please repeat what you said?
No, I wasn't talking to you, Siri. Oh my gosh.
I'm not sure I understand.
It makes me nuts. You'll need the number. Okay, hang on. Now, Deb on the Move, can you send me an email? Because I've got a number of Debs, and I don't want to send it to the wrong... What did I just do? I don't know. I don't know what I just did. Okay. Okay. Oh, Jessica just said that hold on. A missing 16-year-old from Indiana has been found safe Sunday in Arkansas with the assistance of the FBI. Okay, this positive could only have been possible through the mutual cooperation of both federal and state agencies. Madison was believed to be in extreme danger, possibly abducted by a man who has been accused of stalking her. Alexander Martin Curry Fishtorn, 22, was also located and taken into custody. The paper reported this that he faces numerous charges. She disappeared Saturday morning in Crown Point, Indiana, a city roughly 50 miles southeast of Chicago. According to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. And her car was later found abandoned with a window cracked open and some of her belongings inside, the Crown Point Police Department said. So, okay, she's been found safe, and that's good. Okay, I was just reading some of these other headlines here. Okay, let me give Deb the number. Oh, and another, somebody sent me something that Azin from 30 Day Fiancé, the rumors are out that he has a wife that's pregnant, and that was the emergency why they couldn't go to Grenada. I'm not sure I believe it. I don't know. Okay, so. Oh, okay, Deb, hang on. This is you. Okay, let me send this. I'm going to pull up the article and I'm going to send you the number here. Sorry, it's just that there's a lot of emails and I haven't gotten to many emails, but okay. I do thank you for them. I will get around to them. It's just been crazy. Okay, I just sent you it. Now, let me see here. All right, so let me see. I'll pull up that article and let me see here now. All right, so Deb, I sent that to you. I'm trying to get the article. I just want to make sure, did a scooter video post that I put up? I hope it posted. Let me see here. Just gonna check on that. Okay, good. Good, except that. Hold on one second. Oh, I'll have to fix the thumbnail later. I can't do it now. Okay. Where did I? Okay, so Deb's coming on, and I'm trying to open which. Oh, here it is. Wife finds new life after husband's murder conviction. Okay, so can I get the picture? Okay, and we'll wait for Deb. Are we waiting for Deb? Deb's calling in. As it has no interest. I know. I don't know why Nicole can't understand that. This 90 Day Fiancé, is that a U.S. show? Yes. Oh, so you were ready to give up, Sunny, on relationships? But this one is working out well for you. Yes, Teresa, they are. Okay, so while we're waiting for Debbie. No rush, Debbie. No rush. Saint Joseph is for help with success. No, I'll tell you while we're waiting here. Okay, I'll get the official status on Saint Joseph. Okay. He's the patron saint of homes. And there's a kit you can get. There's an actual kit you can get. You can get it on Amazon. It's also in other... Let me see here. Other things, and it's an actual one for selling your home. Has a little statue, 4 inches, that you can follow the directions. I think there's a prayer. And the story behind using a St. Joseph statue to sell your home.
At Scovomino, the last few days of summer means huge savings now on our great selection.
Shut up. I can't stand when you open something and they have that stuff blaring. It should come on in mute. That turns me off. I just shut the pages down when they come on like that. I don't like that. Okay, so he's the patron saint of families, carpenters, and working people in general, but he is also the protector and the patron saint of home sellers. Well, who better? Many sellers believe bearing a statue of Saint Joseph will help them get their house sold. That's the theory. Anyway, the burying practice or superstition has misty origins, but it's said that Saint Teresa of Avila needed land for another convent in the 16th century. She and the nuns buried medals of Saint Joseph and prayed to him. It was not long before they got the land they needed to continue their work. There was also the old German ritual of carpenters burying a statue of their patron Saint Joseph in the foundation of the house they were building in the late 1800s. Brother André Basset of Montreal repeated St. Avila's medal burial when owners would not sell him the land he wanted for a chapel. The story says they abruptly changed their minds and made the sale. Any of these legends may have contributed to the belief that St. Joseph's statue can help in a real estate deal. There really is no record in folklore about the statue burial as a widespread practice. There just isn't until the 1970s. So it's more a trend than a tradition once that heated up in the 1990s. And if you put any stock in internet testimonials, it's still going strong. The Roman Catholic Church does not officially recognize or reject the St. Joseph's statue burial, although they emphasize it's an act of faith, second to your all-important belief in prayers. You don't even have to be a Roman Catholic, since the Anglican, Episcopal, Lutheran, and Eastern Orthodox churches all venerate St. Joseph. In fact, holding at least some Christian belief in the Holy Family seems to be enough to make burying the St. Joseph statue to sell your house an option. But beware thinking of it as just a superstition or calling St. Joseph a mere good luck charm. Some of the faithful consider it an insult to the saint and the church to use him like a rabbit's foot or a 4-leaf clover. Sources say you should bury him near your for sale sign, bury him 12 inches deep or not, bury him close to the road facing it as a sign that you're leaving the house soon, place him upside down so that he will be motivated to free himself by getting your house sold. This strategy suggests your prayers tell him he's stuck until the job is done. Bury him right side up, facing your house, lying on his back, pointing towards your house, close to the back of the house or near any backyard flowers. If you're selling an apartment or condo, you can use a flower pot with or without plants placed on a deck or windowsill. Or if you don't like the idea of burying him, you can place him in your home in view of your for sale sign. Okay? And so good luck with that. Hi, Deb.
Hello.
Hi. Are you on a chair?
No, I'm on my bed.
Oh, okay, good.
My head is freaking pounding. My stomach's rolling. Okay.
Okay. Thanks for
And
coming.
this is from Springfield, Illinois. And there was a guy named Mark, and his wife's name was Donna Winger. And they couldn't, well, let me go back. They were both, they both had good jobs and stuff. He was a nuclear engineer for the state of Illinois, and Donna was an operating room technician at the hospital. And they wanted to have a baby, and she was not able to. So they ended up adopting a baby. And then both sets of in-laws were delighted when the couple married in 1989. And they adopted a baby girl in June of 1995. And it says that they doted on their daughter and they showed her off to everyone. And Donna had a friend, Deanne Schultz. And they ended up just 3 months later after adopting this child. Donna had gone down to Florida to visit her mother and stepfather with the baby so they could meet the baby. And it's real common for people in Springfield to fly out of St. Louis because the flights are cheaper. And so she took a shuttle van, which is an hour and a half ride back home to Springfield. And it was an unusual driver. The driver's name was Roger Harrigan, and he had been working for the van company for 6 months. Well, the driver scared her. She said that she was very frightened, according to her husband, and that he said things about killing people, setting car bombs, mutilating people, and so forth. Well, it was like, okay, I'm looking at this, so I don't leave anything out, sorry. Okay, anyway, she and the baby made it home safely and stuff, but Donna was very rattled. And so her husband, Mark, complained to Harrigan's boss. And it says that he blew up at the guy's boss and told them about his van driver speeding with his wife and baby in the car and the inappropriate things that he was saying in the car to Donna. And then a week and a half after this car ride, Mark had called this guy's boss and complained. And so they said, his boss said that the driver said that he would like to get it straightened out personally. And that it was okay to give Mark, the husband, his phone number. And so he had called this Harrigan, this guy that was the van driver and everything, and they had talked and everything, and they had set up a meeting. He wanted him to come over to the house and stuff so they could talk about it. And so this was like a week later. The baby was alone in the master bedroom, and there were strange sounds coming from the dining room. And Mark was downstairs, the husband, on his treadmill in the basement when he heard a thump. And so he knew that that something wasn't right. And so he grabbed his gun and started going down the hall. And Winger said that when he came down the hallway, he saw one of the most horrifying things any husband could see. His wife was on the floor in the dining room, and there was a stranger over her, bludgeoning her with a hammer. And that's when Winger says that he shot the man in the head. When police got there to Winger's house, which was in Springfield, the victims were in terrible shape, but they were both alive. They sent, the paramedics came and worked on them and sent both the wife and the van driver to the hospital. And the van driver, let me go back a little bit. While the paramedics were working, there was an officer, Dave Behringer, that had his Polaroid camera. This was years ago. And he thought that if he was going to take some pictures showing where the bodies were located, he needed to do it right away, because he knew that those guys would be gone in a matter of minutes and stuff, because they needed to get him to the hospital. So he took a couple pictures, and both Donna and the man were rushed to the hospital. Mark began telling police what had happened that day. And homicide detective Charlie Cox knew that there was little hope that either Donna or the man lying near her would survive their wounds. And Cox grabbed the man's ID from his wallet, and then that was the detective, and then got right to work questioning Mark Winger in his bedroom. And Mark was in shock, and the whole time they were questioning him, but he said that he did his best. And then, he was more or less rocking back and forth as he was talking to them. And you could tell he was nervous and upset. So Charlie Cox was trying to be as delicate as he could with his questions because of the circumstances. You know, he was trying to be delicate with the husband. And Winger told the detectives that the hammer was his. It was left out by Donna as a reminder to hang a hat rack. And he had a question of his own. He said, who is that guy out there? And he says, is his name Roger? And Charlie Cox said, yes, that's Roger Harrigan. And Harrigan was the same van driver that drove Donna home from the airport 6 days earlier. And Winger told Cox about the harrowing ride And he also told Cox about the 2 anonymous phone calls that Winger believed that were from Harrington sometime in the last 6 days. And Mark said that he thought he was going to jail because he shot a man in the head, that he couldn't have been more than wrong. Police had all but cleared him. They didn't consider him a killer, they considered him a victim. And Charlie's partner, Doug Williamson, helped to calm Winger. He said that he was trying to let him know what they were doing and going to do, how the police were going to help him, and so forth. After Donna and Harrigan were taken away, Winger managed to give the detectives a detailed statement. He told them that Donna was on her knees when he took aim at Harrigan. And Charlie Cox's investigation of the crime scene backed up Mark's story. What's more, Harrigan had been a psychiatric patient with a history of delusions, and Cox knew him. He once broke up a fight between Harrigan and his wife, and he had her bent over the couch getting ready to hit her, and then Cox grabbed him. And Harrigan died shortly after arriving to the hospital, and Donna died minutes later. And she never regained consciousness. Donna's mother and stepfather were inconsolable when they heard about her murder. The stepfather said that he had to hold her because she was wailing and howling and wailing, and that's what he remembered. They both were in shock to hear Donna's ride from the airport had escalated into a homicide. Asked if she was scared by this driver, Donna's mother said no, she wasn't scared. No, she wasn't scared. She was just disturbed in a way. That was such a crazy conversation. And then Ira and Sarah, that was her mom and stepdad, they rushed to their son-in-law's side. It was an open and shut case. The day after Winger shot Harrigan, the prosecutor announced his conclusions, saying that Winger had acted in self-defense and that there were no charges against him. And there was an outpouring of support in the town for Mark in Springfield, although everyone believed that he was a good family man whose life had been shattered by this madman. But one family wasn't buying the story at all, and that was Roger Harrington's family, the van driver. Harrington's sister said that her brother wasn't capable to commit such a crime and pleaded with Detective Cox. He was very rude, very, very rude, she remembers, which I know Charlie Cox, and I find that hard to believe. But he said, "Ma'am, anytime you want to know how your kid brother walked in that home, snapped and killed that woman, come into my office." Someone else doubted Winger's story, and that was Detective Williamson, Doug Williamson. He said he wasn't convinced by Mark's story and had a lot of questions. Why would Donna have left her baby alone in the bedroom and opened the door to Harrigan, the man that she was supposedly feared so much, and does not indicate an appointment when I have already seen the note which indicates an appointment, the detective adds. And Charlie saw no reason to doubt that the nuclear engineer justifiably shot disturbed intruder. That Williamson wanted to investigate further, but his bosses turned him down flat. And that's the way it stayed for 3.5 years until a surprise witness came forward. That surprise witness was Donna's friend, I don't know what her name is again. Okay. Because everybody in Springfield by this time had knew Mark Winger's story. It was horrific and heartbreaking, but Detective Williamson had never believed one word of it. At first, Williamson couldn't even persuade his own partner, Charlie Cox, that Winger was a murderer. But Cox said he became suspicious when Winger kept showing up at the police station. A few months after the murder, he came by to ask for his gun back. He released the gun back to Mark, and we sat and talked for about a half an hour, Cox remembered. He was wanting to know how the case was going. As far as I was concerned, he should have just accepted that it was closed. And Winger had denies it, but Cox remembers him dropping by a second time, this time to say that he was getting remarried to his daughter's new nanny, who he had hired just 5 months after Donna's murder. Winger's behavior made Cox believe that his partner had been around all along. He thought about the problems in the case, like that note in Harrigan's car. Now Cox also wanted the case reopened, fearing that Mark had duped the police. And the bosses said, no way. We're not going to open a case of this magnitude with your gut feelings and embarrass the department and embarrass Mr. Winger. As the years passed, Mark's new wife adopted his child, and they had 2 other children. And then all of a sudden, the whole case got turned around. The police got a break when Deanne Schultz, that was Donna's friend, had come forward, and she had been silent for the last 3.5 years. But she was finally ready to say something that would change everything. Deanne told police that she had been having an affair with Mark Winger. And so the wife's girlfriend was having an affair with her husband. And that shocked everyone, especially Charlie Cox, who right after Donna's murder had written about the Wingers' marriage. It was very apparent that he and his wife were very much in love and that this should have never happened. And Deanne told them the affair began a month before Donna's murder and continued a few months after she died until Winger ended it. And she dropped an even bigger bombshell and told police Mark wanted out of his marriage so badly that he had talked about killing Donna. He mentioned that it would be easier if Donna just died. That's what Mark had told this girl he was having an affair with. And Deanne said that Winger suggested that she could play a role in this. He said that he would be out of town, and he mentioned me coming and finding Donna. That was the guest. And Deanne said that Winger even talked about the van driver, Roger Harrington, according to Deanne Schultz. He told her that he had to figure out a way to get him into the house. Winger does admit that he had an affair with Deanne. I was a good husband to Donna. I just made a mistake. I'm human. I was stupid. And it was wrong. But he denies everything else she said. At the time, Deanne says she didn't take Winger's comment seriously, but as the years passed, she felt mounting pressure from her own conscience. And Deanne dramatically revealed that the case was finally reopened. The detectives went straight to the old files, and they found yet another surprise. Those 3 Polaroids that were taken by Officer Mark Behringer. Cox said that he didn't look at the photos in 1995 when he was doing the investigation because nobody ever told him that they existed. The Polaroids were taken before Donna and Harrigan were moved to the hospital, but were never shown to the investigators that were investigating, this case. And they were flabbergasted when they found those in the file. It doesn't take but 10 seconds. It was a smoking gun, Williamson said. And Roger Harrington's body, the placement of the body in these pictures blew Mark's story out of the water. It was over. Roger Harrington, his head and feet were in the opposite direction of what Mark told us had happened. And in the chaos, detectives did not have time to note for themselves where Donna and Harrigan lay before paramedics rushed them to the ambulance. To understand why police thought Winger had to be lying requires a little forensic fancy footwork. And Charlie Cox went with 48 hours to the Winger's old house to demonstrate. Because in the meantime, Mark Winger had gotten remarried. His new wife adopted the baby girl that him and his first wife had adopted. And the story that Winger had told them, Mr. Harrigan would have been lying basically like this. He would have fallen backwards and landed down here, Cox explains. And Winger told them that when he shot Harrigan, he fell backwards off of Donna. And so that was how he was found. He was actually completely 180 degrees in a different direction, Cox explained. And those 3 Polaroids were becoming the centerpiece of the case. 4 years after the crime, the detectives had no doubt that they had botched the original investigation. They had allowed Mark Winger to get away with murder by pinning the crime on the obvious suspect, Roger Harrington. Police believe that Mark Winger began plotting the double murder immediately after Donna's bizarre ride with Harrigan on her way home from St. Louis. The detectives could not afford any more errors. After Deanne Schultz came forward, it took them 2 more years to cover every detail and put together a murder case against Mark Winger. Finally, 6 years after Donna was killed, Winger was arrested and put in jail awaiting trial. I remember the whole town was shocked when that happened because this was a big case and we all knew that he was innocent. They had already determined that in the first investigation. And police Charlie Cox who once called Winger a hero, was now intent to prove him a cold-blooded murderer. And Mark is just as determined to prove that police got it right the first time. Roger Harrington killed my wife. I saw it with my own eyes. Nearly 7 years after Donna's death, Mary Jane and Ira, that was her mom and stepdad, came to Mark Winger's trial, knowing the evidence against him was so strong, but still clinging to the hope that something would exonerate him, because Donna's mom and stepdad were still on Winger's side. You know, they didn't think he had anything to do it. And they wanted to know why they were so eager for him to prove that he didn't do it and stuff. I guess that's what the stepdad was saying. Okay, because we loved him, Donna's mom said, because he was part of our family, because Donna loved him, because they appeared to have such an incredible, wonderful marriage. And Mark insisted that he did not kill Donna with that hammer. The prosecution team, led by John Smith, and said that Winger lied from the beginning. Even during his 911 call, when he told the operator that he didn't know who the man was in his house. They said that Winger knew very well who he was because he had invited him to his house, because they found that note in his car. And I just find that surprising that they closed that case in one day. You know, it doesn't sound like there was very much of an investigation. But Ray Duffy, who owned the airport van company, provided the crucial link for the prosecution. Duffy testified that Winger had called to complain about Harrigan's behavior, and that's when he just wanted to talk with his driver and tell him to leave his family alone. Winger had claimed Harrigan was making anonymous phone calls to Winger's house. Duffy says Mark Winger wanted to talk directly to Harrigan, which said was unusual. Usually they handle, you know, any complaints with just a call to the office. And Duffy said Harrigan was eager to work things out. And that's when he had said that it was okay to give Mark Winger his phone number, and he would talk to him when Winger called him. And so when Mark called Roger Harrigan, that's when they set up the appointment for 4:30, and that's when Winger had gone, that's when Harrigan had gone to the Winger house. And that's how he lured them into the house. Detective Williamson found in Harrigan's car was that note. And if Mark would have told us that there was a meeting and the guy had went berserk in the house, well then this case would probably still be closed and stuff. But he got caught because he lied about that meeting. And when Harrigan had gone to the Winger house, he was not armed. He was carrying a coffee mug and a pack of cigarettes. But Harrigan did have a deadly object. Roger Harrigan had a tire iron fashioned as a weapon in his car. And if he was going to go and bludgeon somebody, he would have gotten that weapon out of his car. And he chose a weapon from inside the house that he had no idea was that there would be a weapon even laying out. So this didn't make sense during the second trial. And Williamson said that he thought Roger Harrigan showed up. They were seated at the table in the dining room, and he held a conversation. At some point, Mr. Winger shoots Roger Harrigan in the head, and he believed that Donna was in the bedroom because she didn't want to be around Roger when she knew that he was coming over to the house. She comes running out of the bedroom when she hears the gunshot, and Winger picks up the hammer, and strikes her in the head several times. And untangling the evidence in the 7-year-old case was a huge job for the jurors. And 3 of them sat down and talked with 48 hours. The defense told them that unlike Winger, who was a successful and respectful member of the community, Roger Harrigan had a troubled past. Here's some testimony that really does make Roger look guilty. I mean, Roger was weird. Roger showed up at their house. There was some phone calls. It could have been him, one juror commented. And the defense also pointed out that at the time of the murder in 1995, the detectives had used the Polaroids. They had the note in the car, in fact, had all the same evidence that they now found so incriminating against Winger, except at the time, the detectives that were investigating the case had no idea that those 3 Polaroids even existed. And the trained professionals saw that the same scene that they saw enclosed the trained professional saw the same scene that we saw, and they closed the case the next day, one juror had commented. Dan Schultz, who was given immunity, provided the only new evidence to this case. But she had attempted suicide 4 times and had undergone electroshock therapy, and the defense called her unreliable. The jurors knew that was at stake, but now Winger and his new wife had 4 children, including the baby that he and Donna had adopted. During this time, before he got arrested, they had 3 other children, and then plus the baby that Mark already had, that made it 4 children. Now, during all this time that he thought he was getting away with murder, him and his wife had moved to the village of Pleasant Plains, which was where I was living, and just moved from there 2 weeks ago. And the village of Pleasant Plains, everybody knows what everybody's doing. It's only a little village of 700 people, and most of them are farmers. Most of them grew up there, and they grew up in Pleasant Plains and still live in Pleasant Plains. But Roger Harrington's family was looking for justice. No matter what the decision was, one family would feel more pain. After nearly 2 weeks of testimony, Sarah Jane and Ira, that is her mom and stepdad, were overwhelmed by the evidence against Mark Winger. And what's so hard to understand is the way that he murdered Donna so viciously and violent. Donna's mom says that Roger Harrigan's family hopes to clear his name. I was praying. I kept going. Raj, if you're up there, you hear me, bring us some good news. Bring us something so that my mom and dad can sleep good tonight. This is what his sister Barbara was saying. The jury only deliberated for 13 hours before reaching a verdict as guilty. You know, this after all these years. It is the verdict that Donna's parents both hoped for and dreaded. The confirmation of that they'd been betrayed and deceived by this man who had been a part of their family for so long. And Winger's parents, who had spent a small fortune defending their son, were stunned by the verdict. The jurors said the case against Mark Winger was clear, that they believed Deanne Schultz, but ultimately the jurors said that the state's best evidence was the first evidence police ever collected, those 3 Polaroids. But the detectives never knew about that, and there was never, ever a trial against Mark at that time. And Mark didn't offer any explanation because he didn't testify in his trial. 5 months after the verdict, he spoke with 48 Hours at a prison in Pontiac, Illinois. I'm sorry. He now claims that he personally saw the paramedics move Harrington, although they all denied that at the trial. But Winger cannot explain the note in Harrigan's car. The thing is, I cannot offer you any answers to why Roger Harrigan had 430 written on a note, he said. Harrigan's family said that the meaning of what that note was always very clear, that Roger went to the Winger's home because Mark Winger invited him. And former lead detective Charlie Cox said that he learned a valuable lesson, acknowledging that Mark Winger came very close to getting away with murder. Instead, Mark Winger was sentenced to life in prison, which could have been the end of the story, except that it wasn't. In spring of 2005, an inmate at the prison in Pontiac came forward and said that Winger had tried to involve him in a murder for hire plot. The intended victim was Deanne Schultz, and Winger's plot was so complicated, you might say twisted. It took 19 handwritten pages and hours of secretly recording conversations to spell it out. Deanne was the person that he was having an affair with when he was married, and that's who he wanted to put this hit on. And Deanne would be kidnapped and forced to write and record lengthy statements scripted by Winger, saying that she had lied, made everything up, and believes that Winger is innocent. And then she'd be killed. Winger's notes covered everything. Only Deanne's fingerprints can be found on the tape cassette, letters, and envelopes. Her saliva must be found on the stamps. And Winger asked for one more victim, if possible, former father-in-law, Ira. He wanted to put out a hit on him, too. In June 2007, Winger stood trial in a Pontiac, Illinois courthouse. He told jurors the whole thing was a fantasy he never planned to carry out. And Ira was there. He also, he was chained by his hands. He was chained by his feet. And I looked at him straight in the eye and I said, Mark, your miserable life is over, as he remembers. This time the jury took less than 3 hours, including lunch, Mark Winger was convicted of soliciting murder and sentenced to another 35 years. And with Winger locked up for good, Sarah Jane and Ira were dedicated to keeping Donna's memory alive. Donna really was the ultimate victim of spousal abuse. I had to find a way to keep her spirit going, Sarah Jane says. And they do that by helping other abused women raise money for charity named for Donna. Donna's Fund is a part of the organization Women in Distress. It continues to help abused women and their children. And that's it.
Okay, very good. So were you aware of this when it was happening in your town?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. If I remember right, it was even national news. But at this particular time, you know, I was dating a police officer and stuff, and I've known Charlie Cox and Mark Behringer for years. And I had just heard about Williamson and stuff. I didn't ever actually meet him. He didn't run in our little clique, but then several years later, you know, it was on 48 hours.
Right now, the children, because I have a picture of the family, the second wife, and there's four children. Now, one is the adopted daughter, correct? And the three.
Yeah, the oldest one would be the adopted daughter, and then the other three would be Winger's kids with his second wife.
So okay, their father is Mark.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do they still live in the town?
No. No, and I'm not even sure. I didn't read that article that I sent you
Okay.
about the second wife moving on or whatever. But I don't even think that they still live in Illinois.
Oh,
And
okay.
if they do, I don't think it was around our area. But I do remember, okay, he was an engineer for the state of Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time I was working for the state of Illinois and everything, but I guess they came into his office and arrested him at work and everything and walked him off with handcuffs. But at the time when this happened, I mean, it was really scary because a lot of people from there used that van service from Springfield to St. Louis.
Right.
You know, because if I remember right, it was like $25 or something each way, which would be $50, and it would probably save you like $200 or $300 on your airplane ticket.
Mm-hmm.
Just going out of St. Louis. And so I remember that everybody was really scared,
Now
to use that service again. And actually, I haven't heard of that van service for years, so I don't even know that it's still around.
Right, I'm sure they probably changed the name if anything, but you said that his motive for this was that he was having an affair with one of his wife's girlfriends?
Yes.
Okay, but then he broke it off, he got a nanny for the kids, and then married that nanny.
Yeah, and, you know, all those years while he was having babies with her and everything, he was thinking he got away with murder.
I wonder
And
if he was
probably would
two-timing her.
have
I wonder if he was
didn't.
two-timing her too.
Yeah. So, yeah, if he would have just stayed quiet and everything, he probably would have, because Charlie started to think something when he ended up, walking. I mean, he kept on coming by the police station and stuff to see how the investigation was going.
Well, he called his wife, okay, the second wife, it says Trophy Shiksa, which both Mark and Donna were Jewish. He then abandoned the Jewish faith and became baptized, right?
Oh, I don't know.
That's what it says here. And it says that he calls her, well, this is something different, Trophy Shiksa. And then the new couple added 3 more children, 2 which were adopted to the new family. Wait a minute. The couple added, according to this, right? So only one of those children has Mark as a father, which is well.
Okay, I was incorrect.
And then let's see, maybe he was having problems, and maybe the one was a fluke. I don't know. Which included, no, hold on a minute. The couple added 3 more children. This is like a word. 2 which were adopted to the new family, which included, now, does it mean the new family included or the 2 adopted children included? It's not written very well. Included the child Winger had adopted with his first wife, Donna.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I know there were 4 kids.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have been laying down all day today with a horrible headache.
I'm laying down. I'm lazy.
And upset stomach. But so I didn't read the article that you were talking about. There were 2 different articles about that I had picked up. But I just thought it was weird. It was a strange case because there were so many twists and turns,
Mm-hmm.
And, hear him thinking he got away with it and starting a whole new life. And then, one day he didn't even know that he was being, that he was even being investigated. They just come up to his work and end up arresting him. And then, he gets convicted for that. And then he's in jail and he's trying to put a hit out on people,
Mm-hmm.
and everything. It's just a really weird,
Crazy case, yeah.
crazy story because I guess everybody that knew these people, just like the Chris Watts case,
Mm-hmm.
thought this was the perfect couple, and
Right.
it was, it was only, 6 weeks, I think, after they adopted this baby that he killed his wife. If he wanted out of it, why did he go through with the adoption? It just doesn't make sense. I don't know.
Right, and how did he know that the driver was going to be that way, which would opened up that he would come to the house and all this stuff, and
Yeah,
and set
he
that up for
wouldn't-
him,
He probably wouldn't have known about the driver's past too.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that Charlie brought up later, that this guy was, that he already knew him from a domestic violent situation where he was trying to, beat on his wife and everything else. So, Mark wouldn't have been able to know any of that stuff. and everything. So it was just perfect for him that this guy did have this past, and it was so easy for him to get away with it, because this guy did have a past, and so they closed the case real quick and everything. But when he finally got arrested, that's when he was living in my little village. But, well, I actually lived out in the country, but outside of the village, and he was living inside of it, and that's when he got arrested. Was when he was living out there.
Yeah, wow.
But it was strange, and it was the 48 hours episode. It was really good. I mean, back then, this is a long time ago, and it's worth watching just to see Charlie Cox. he was one hot detective. Okay, but that 48 hours episode was called Invitation to a Murder.
Oh, I thought, it's not open and shut case? I don't know
What?
I thought I saw it said open and shut. Hold on a minute. Let me see. Is that? Let me see. I don't know why I thought it just said it was called open and shut case. Invitation to a murder. Right. And I think that there's a follow. Let me see. Is there a follow-up?
Well, it was an open and shut case. At first, the second day.
Okay,
After,
invitation to a murder. Yes.
After Winger,
okay.
After Winger, said after his testimony, after his interview with police and said everything that had happened, it was all considered, self-defense.
Mm-hmm. And Cox said he was very upset that he made
that, they pretty much let Winger go, because this guy was an engineer, who would think that an engineer would, set another guy up and kill his wife with a hammer, and it was just lucky for him that this Harrigan guy, had a mental past. And
right, but the detective also apologized to the Harrington family because they buried their son as a murderer and he was a victim.
Yeah, yeah, and I was kind of surprised because when that actually came out, I wasn't with the guy that I was living with, at the time that it happened, and so I wasn't around the cops. And at the time that 48 hours came out, I was kind of surprised that Charlie had gone on national TV willingly, talking about this case and admitting that they really screwed it up, but
he was accountable. He took accountability. Yeah,
Because a lot of cops wouldn't. Well, he was an investigator at the time, but a lot of cops wouldn't agree to do that. And said that we really screwed this one up, and for him to do that, I thought that was very honorable of him.
Yep.
I thought that was surprising,
Yeah, definitely.
Because a lot of cops, they may say that they screwed up, but they wouldn't go on national TV and, admit
Say we
it.
messed it up, yeah. Right. I agree.
Just that, like I said, that 48-hour episode is really good. And, it may explain more than what I actually did, but I think I covered a lot of it.
Yeah, and I appreciate that you came on when you weren't
And
feeling
everything, that it was
good. Yeah.
It was the talk of the town for a long time. But that is it.
What? Oh, did you say it? You still there, Deb?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I thought you were still saying something. And not that Nikki says, happened to me. My husband had an affair with my good friend who was also our nanny. That's not good. Not fun. I put the house on the market. I rented an apartment, and my daughter and I moved the same day. Wow, not that Nikki. That's not good. That's not a friend. No.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, but evidently she was regretting her decisions for the fact that she tried to commit suicide 4 times. And, I mean, she was suffering, for the bad decision that she did make to her friend and stuff. It seemed like she was punishing herself, and as far as, trying to commit suicide and everything else. And if she would have never came forward, this case would have never came back up again. And everything. So she did. It was because of, her and their affair that he actually got caught and was sentenced.
Oh, okay.
So
I'm just
that's
reading
it.
some of the comments.
Do you have any more questions? Huh?
I was just reading through some of the comments. That's what I'm just. But if anybody has any questions, you can put them up. But I think. Hi, Julie T. Thank you for calling in. They said. Hi, Team Phoenix. Hi, Danielle. Hi, Cece. More so, keep strong. Oh, Alicia, you had something else like that happen too? Is there anyone that can help you out? What's going on with Alicia? Is this something that just happened, Alicia? Did she know? Oh, no, you didn't know them personally, did you? Deb?
Oh, no.
No.
I just knew the police officers, Mark Behringer and Charlie Cox.
Oh, okay. And let's see, any other questions for Deb? Hi, Joanne. Let me see here. Julie T came in late.
And stuff, but if they don't have any questions, I'm gonna get off.
Okay, yeah, go rest up.
My eyeballs are
Yeah, thanks for calling in and going through all that.
Okay.
Okay.
Have a good one. Thank you.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Oh, I see. You're living with a covert narcissist. Who owns the house? Do you both own it together? I'm trying to catch up with this. Came in late. Creek Lodge. Oh, Wolf Creek Lodge. Oh, I see. Which one are you at? Great Wolf Lodge, you mean? Which one are you at? Which state? Yeah, thanks, Deb, on the move. And he has isolated you from your family and your friends and has been trying to work on your children. And you've been with him for 25 years. Your children are with him, correct? Oh, Wolf Creek Lodge. Okay. Is that like Great Wolf Lodge? Great Wolf Lodge is a fun place, yeah. I'm trying to catch up on all this stuff. Okay. Yeah, Alicia, I mean, we're all praying for you and hope that you can find some help there. What about if you call the family court? They often have a victim's advocate or a safe, something that, an organization that helps abused spouses, or in your case, common law spouses. Hey, J Bells. If I email you, will you read it? Sure, Melly, you want to do? Yeah, go ahead. You can email it to me. Oh, I bet your wall. Let me check. I'm behind. I'll check right now, Jeannie. Let me see while we're waiting for the other one. Okay, so Jeannie says, okay, so I paid $2.40 for all this today at Walmart. Let's see what you got there. The 3 items on the left, I had free coupons for them. The panko, the, what is that? Ranch something, and the teriyaki. Okay. The $2.40 was for all the cans, which are crushed and rings only. That's good. 10 cents each. That's good. I like to put that in cottage cheese, so that is good. I hope you're feeling better. We all love you so much. Thanks for being a great person. Oh, I'm also throwing in a sunset picture here in Phoenix today, which was 3 days ago. Very nice. Thank you very much, Jeannie. Good shopping. Okay, and let's see if we have. All right, here's a crime riddle. A man is charged with killing his wife, but her body has never been found. In court, his lawyer states that she is simply missing and will walk through the courtroom door in 30 seconds. The man on trial watches the jury as they stare at the door waiting for her to enter. A minute later, the lawyer says, "If you were 100% sure he killed his wife, you wouldn't be watching the door." Why do the jury give a guilty verdict? Any ideas? The answer is he was watching the jury rather than the door, as he knew that she wasn't going to appear. That's a crime riddle Jessica sent in. There's more. We'll do them every so often. Thanks, Jessica. Okay, I'm still waiting on Melly Mel. Are you sending it? So it's your home, Alicia? Then you should not leave your home. Oh, Melly Mel said not tonight. Okay. She said she'll send it tomorrow. Okay. All right, so let's do another riddle. You want to do another riddle? Crime riddle? Okay. Let's see. Hold on. Okay. Here, I'll put it up so you can read along. Whoops, how come it didn't go over there? Hang on. One Thursday morning, a postman discovers the murder of an old man who lived alone in a remote cottage. When the police arrive at the scene, they find 2 bottles of milk, Monday's newspaper, local business flyers, unopened mail. Who is the suspect? I think I know what it is. Let me see. You guys have an answer? What you see there is all we know. All right, let's see. The newspaper boy, no papers were delivered on Tuesday or Wednesday. How did he know not to deliver them? Okay, here's another one. A man has been shot to death in his car. There are no powder marks on his clothes, indicating that the gunman wasn't in the car. But all the windows are up, the doors are locked, and there are no bullet holes in the car. How was he murdered? I think I have the answer. All right, let me get the answer. The car is a convertible. The roof was closed after the man had been shot. You could have also said the door was open because it says the doors are locked, but it doesn't say they're locked and closed. You can have a door that's locked and still be open. So, weird, but that's the answer. You want to do another one? Yeah, sure you do. Okay, let's see. Okay, come on. Whoops. Okay, a detective working on an international oil smuggling case disappears. His case notes list 3 suspects and a code: Bill, John, Terry, and then that code you see there, 710-577-3534, 5508-517718. Can you break the code and find the suspect's name? Anyone? I'm going to have to put up the answer. Bill is the suspect. Read the code upside down. Bill is boss. He sells oil. You can't see that tonight? You're not going to binge. I put it up there. The answer is up there. You got one? You got one, anybody? All right, let's do another one. Let's see. Okay. Uh-oh. What happened to my... Okay. So... A man is murdered on a Sunday morning. His wife calls the police, who question the wife and household staff. They are given the following alibis. The wife was sleeping. The butler was cleaning the silver. The gardener was mowing the lawn. The maid was getting the post, which means mail. The cook was preparing breakfast. Who do they arrest and why? The maid, there is no Sunday mail, right? Right. I don't think there are any more. All right, I'm coming back to the chat. Hold on. Coming back to the chat. You like those wildlife? We'll have to try to find some more. The butler. You didn't get any right, Terry's. I had a book like that. It was very similar when I was like in 7th grade. It was written for kids, but it was like that had a little more of a story to it. But it was always fun. You thought it was the wife, Muka? So what else? I told you about, does anybody find out anything more if Azin really has a pregnant wife over there? You like them, you just can't answer them. I was doing more research on the cousin murdered in the mid-1800s and ran into a DNA match for my husband. Huh, Mrs. Roger Rabbit? A DNA match? Who? Oh, on 90 Day Fiancé, Lisa, somebody wrote me today and said, oh my gosh, big news that it's circulating around the internet that the reason that Azin said that there was a family emergency was because he has a wife that's pregnant in Morocco. Now, Azin was going to cancel that trip no matter what. I'm not exactly believing this because how does he have a wife that's pregnant? I don't know. A man walks into a bar. He sees a beautiful, well-dressed woman sitting on a bar stool. He walks up and he says, hi there, how's it going tonight? Oh, okay, Margie, you go get that done. Grammy's the driver. You want to be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed behind the wheel. She turns to him, looks straight in the eyes, and says, I'll screw anybody, anytime, anywhere, anyplace. It doesn't matter to me. I don't Hangouts isn't new, Joanne. I wouldn't doubt that it's shutting down because they shut down their Google Plus pages too. So I wouldn't be surprised. You've been watching Last Man Standing? Hey, Jennifer. Oh, that's terrible, Evie. But anyway, what was I going to say? There's a bunch of new stuff on HBO and Netflix, and I still have things. I still have to catch up with Handmaid's Tale. This Is Us. What else did I fall back on? 90 Day Fiancé, kind of, not really, a little bit. Makeup on to cover scratches from a woman he killed. Yeah, it sounds familiar, Lori. And he killed the baby too. Sounds familiar. You know the name? Oh, you can't remember. Yeah. Let me see. I'll see if I can find you the name. Hang on. Was it in Iceland? Are you talking about Peter Chadwick, who we talked about the other night? Apparently, a lot of guys are doing it. I can't get you the name as quickly as I would like to. Can't. Hi, Casbat. Mindhunter, yeah, I have been watching Mindhunter. Have you? I have read on the Missy Beavers case, yes. No, I don't think I was that early tonight, Alicia. I came on, it was after 12. It was after 12, but I'm going to sign off in just a few minutes here because I've had like a crazy busy day and just been going. He was here earlier, Lisa. Are you looking for him? You need popcorn, Sassy? A huge roller coaster. Oh, something happened with a roller coaster. People were injured in Maryland. Missing me. Yeah, right. You're pooped out and played out. Me too. I'm tired. So yeah, I felt better today. My blood pressure was a little bit better. It's still low, but it's better. Hey, Angel Callie. Oh, no problem, Casbat. You wanted Jeff to know that yesterday your husband reunited by phone another adoptee with their birth parent. Wow, how did it go? Was it a good reunion? Tell me again how he's doing that, because I thought, isn't your husband a teacher or something? I forgot how he's involved in these reunitings. It was good by phone, mother and daughter. How old were they? How old was the daughter? Hi, Anne. The daughter is in her 50s. The mother's in her 70s. Interesting to learn of the, yeah, interesting, right? Yeah, I know, Angel Callie. I know. The problem is there's so many different things like with the channel, because I wanted to do some things like true crime chat with Mommy Ramblings, other ones, Mommy Ramblings. You know, it's like I always have to do everything. That's what I mean. I complicate things for myself. I do. And then the one I have, like, I just make things much more complicated than they need to be. Good night, Jeannie. I'm going to be following you. But yeah, if anybody has any ideas, that's great. But okay. Please go back. Yes, Kathy's son. It's miraculous recovery, which is great. You had us scared for a couple of days, Kathy. I was getting worried. The turtle is good. The turtle's good. I thought today I was going to take a turtle cam. I'll get a turtle cam up this week. Promises. He's doing very well. He's such a friendly little turtle. You come up to the tank and he's like looking, and he knows when you're going to feed him. He's a very smart little turtle. Your daughter was only kidnapped? The guy got a hot coffee. Where? Do you mean tonight, Anne? How old's your daughter? And from where? He's not, to me, I mean, he's not, he's still tiny. He's still small. About that big, his shell. Yeah, I know. Angel Kelly. Yeah, he's a really cute turtle. No, in New Zealand, I think part of 4 years ago. Oh, wow. Scary, scary, scary. Your turtle does the exact same thing? How old is your turtle, Melly Mel? What kind of turtle is it? One of the people I watch, a lady YouTuber that has a turtle called Truffles. Is it a baby turtle or is it a big full-grown turtle? Your daughter dropped him off about 7 years ago for you to watch for the week, and then, yeah, one of those. A baby turtle, Evie? I'll take a look. All right, well, I'm going to go because I am exhausted. Thank you to our great moderators, and thank you to all of you for coming. Talk to you guys tomorrow. I am going to get some rest. Thanks, Angel Kelly. Prayers for your mom, and prayers for your son, Kathy, and for everyone, Alicia, and everyone that needs them. Praying for all of you guys. Take care. God bless. Love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow.